What's up, everybody? Kamahl here. Welcome back to another Path of Exile Heist patch note reading video. So this is going to be the final video of this series. It really wasn't that long of a series, 5 videos, but I wanted to break it down into easier to divulge and easier for me to read. And, you know, I like to read it in sections. Give me a break, okay? Give me a break. If you like what I'm doing here, like, share, comment, subscribe, and let's jump into the Blight balance changes. Blight towers have been rebalanced to try to provide a better diversity of strategies for handling blighted maps. Arc towers now cast 74% faster. Shock towers now cast 50% faster. Chilling towers now have 50% more chill effect and have a cooldown of 4 seconds from 7. This sounds great. Seismic towers now 50% more skill effect duration and have a cooldown of 4 seconds from 7. Minion towers now wait 3 seconds before resummoning their dead minions from 8 seconds. Busts across the towers, that's great. Freeze bolt towers now cast twice as fast and have half their previous cooldown. They now fire an additional projectile, that's amazing. Stone gaze towers now reduce action speed by 20% up from 15 and have slightly reduced cooldown. Scouts from scout towers now have 38% more attack speed and deal 50% more damage. These are great changes. I always found it very frustrating to run the Blight encounters simply because if you're running an area that's a little bit out of your league. So it's capable to push content higher than you should be capable of if you play smart. However, with the towers being so weak in the Blight encounters, it made it very difficult, and I failed probably 3 times as many Blight encounters as I succeeded. And this was even running encounters that were under my level a lot of the time. So this is great news. These Blight up changes are fantastic. Incursion changes. The Hall of Metal, Hall of Heroes, and Hall of Legends are now only available in the Incursion temples where temporal exploration began in level 68 and above areas. Delve changes. The Buried Monolith encounter, Legion encounter, is now restricted to area levels of 68 and above. That seems fine. User interface and improvements. The / auto reply command now persists across area transmissions. That's great. When you use an in-area transition, such as an entrance to a boss room, a very short cooldown is now applied to transition at the destination to prevent accidentally bouncing back with some overzealous clicking. That's going to be great for you PC players, PS4 players. I don't know if this will apply to us, but that's great. That's a very useful improvement. Quest rewards. This is the second to last section. The PvP changes I'll read through, but it's not really something that applies to too many players. Still though, it is what it is. You might be that one guy that PvPs, or I guess there has to be 2 guys to PvP, but whatever. Splitting Steel is now offered to the Duelist and Scion for completing enemy at the gates and can now be purchased from Nessa by the Ranger, I don't know why I said it like that. Flame Wall is now offered to the Witch and Templar for completing Breaking Some Eggs and can now be purchased from Nessa by the Shadow and the Scion. Vitality is now offered to the Marauder, Templar, and Duelist for completing the Caged Brute and can be purchased from Nessa by all characters. Precision can be purchased from Nessa by all characters after completing the Caged Brute. Clarity can be purchased from Nessa by all characters who have completed the Caged Brute. That's amazing. That's great. Clarity is amazing for early game mana efficiency. A lot of the times I would end up running a Witch just for, long enough to get Clarity. So that's awesome. I love that. Same thing with Precision. Precision is also a very, very low mana reservation for a phenomenal buff. All right, Blazing Salvo. Blazing Salvo is now offered to the Witch and Templar for completing the Siren's Cadence and can be purchased from Nessa by the Shadow and Scion. Shattering Steel is now offered to the Duelist for completing the Siren's Cadence and can be purchased from Nessa by the Ranger and Scion. Elemental Weakness, Flammability, Frostbite, Conductivity are now offered to the Witch, Shadow, Templar, and Scion for completing Lost in Love. The Marauder can now purchase Flammability, and the Ranger can now purchase Frostbite from Clarissa after completing Lost in Love. Vulnerability is now offered to the Marauder, Templar, and Scion for completing Lost in Love and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Duelist. Despair is now offered to the Witch, Shadow, Ranger, and Ranger for completing Lost in Love and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Scion. Temporal Chains is now offered to the Witch, the Shadow, and the Scion for completing Lost in Love and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Ranger. Punishment is now offered to the Templar, Marauder, and Scion for completing Lost in Love and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Duelist. Enfeeble is now offered to the Witch. That's what it was. There was a typo there. That's why it threw me off. Okay. Anyways, Enfeeble can now is now offered to the Witch, the Shadow, the Templar for completing Lost in Love, and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Scion. Sniper's Mark, Poacher's Mark are now offered to the Ranger and the Duelist for completing Lost in Love and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Shadow and Scion. Warlord's Mark is now offered to the Duelist and Marauder for completing Lost in Love and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Ranger and the Assassin, or the Scion, not the Assassin. Assassin's Mark is now offered to the Shadow and Ranger for completing Lost in Love and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Duelist and Scion. Almost done here, guys. Almost done. Lancing Steel is now offered to the Duelist for completing Sever the Right Hand and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Ranger and Scion. Firestorm is now offered to the Witch and Templar for completing Sever the Right Hand and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Shadow and Scion. Glacial Cascade is now offered to the Witch for completing Sever the Right Hand and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Templar and the Shadow and the Scion. Crackling Lance is offered to the Witch for completing Sever the Right Hand and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Templar, the Shadow, and the Scion. Hex Blast is now offered to the Witch, Shadow, and Scion for completing Sever the Right Hand and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Templar. Almost done. Impending Doom support is now offered to the Witch, Shadow, Scion for completing a Fixture of Fate and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Templar. Pinpoint support is now offered to the Witch, the Shadow, and the Shadow for completing a Fixture of Fate and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Templar and Scion. Void Sphere is now offered to the Witch, the Templar, the Shadow, and the Scion for completing Breaking the Seal. Frost Shield is now offered to the Witch, the Templar, the Shadow, and the Scion for completing Breaking the Seal. Sigil of Power is now offered to the Witch, Templar, and Shadow for completing Breaking the Seal and can be purchased from Pitaris and Vanya by the Scion. PvP changes. To ensure Heist and the new skills receive a necessary QA time, we will be providing PvP balance changes in a follow-up patch shortly after the launch of 3.12. Now, I will slowly scroll through all of the bug fixes. You can feel free to pause the video to read through these if you want. Like I said, a lot of these are, I'm sure that they'll fix. That's great, but we'll see how many other rare crashes we'll see every 20 minutes when the patch comes out, because that's how it goes. I love this game. I love GGG. However, their game is more broken than, I don't know, something that's broken. Anyways, guys, that's going to be the video. I want to thank you for checking out this video series. If you watched through all 5 videos, you are a beast. You're amazing. Please consider showing support by liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I am still trying to reach 2,000 subs. I'm at 1.9 and a quarter, so 1,925. I'm getting there. I'm not really trying too hard, as it should be obvious, but I am trying to reach 2,000 subs on my channel. So if you feel the necessity to share this on a Discord channel for Path of Exile you may be in, Facebook group you may be in, Twitter feed. I don't really use social media very much aside from the Discord and making YouTube videos, but that would be great. I thank you for watching the video, and I will see y'all again shortly. I will definitely be doing some live streaming when the patch drops, and yeah, I guess that's it. As per usual, you know how it is. I'm out.